London-listed Caspian Sunrise, the Central Asian oil and gas company, has reported success at its deep well at its flagship BNG contract area, located in the west of Kazakhstan. Clive Carver is executive chairman. He joins us now. Clive, welcome. I know you own 99% of this now, don't you? But in fact, this came about as a merger that you had over the summer, which took your ownership up from sub 60%, I think, up to 99%, didn't it?
Yes, we merged with a company called Baverstock, which had 42% of the asset, and Baverstock itself was controlled by our chief executive. So as well as moving to 99% of the asset in one pot, we've also removed any potential conflicts of interest from that. So now we're in control of the development, but also in control of the pace at which we want to fund that, which hadn't always been the case.
Yeah, and which takes us on now to this most recent news about the news about the success of the deep drill of the area. Yes,
for people interested in the company, we have shallow prospects and deep prospects. The deep prospect, we've drilled 3 wells, 5,000 metres each, over the last few years. A5 was the first of those wells. With each of the wells, we've struggled to bring them into production and to get them to flow so we can test them because of the very high pressure, very high temperature, and the need then to use very high density drilling fluid. Finally, we've got A5 to flow. That flowed at 3,500 barrels a day. We've shut it in for a period. We're going to do a 90-day flow test starting very soon. And we look forward to reporting to the market how that goes.
Yeah, you say finally. Was it a difficult process to bring this up to the point at which we got the results?
It was difficult. I think I would not underestimate the technical difficulties of operating such high pressure and high temperatures. It took us several goes to do this and different techniques. Eventually we did it with the sidetrack where we spurred off from the main well. And I think as a result of that, that gives us a lot more confidence we'll be able to use similar techniques with the other 2 wells.
Yeah, okay, let's move on now as well to the licence renewal, because I know this is something else which is a big event.
A very big event. We've known for a long time we're working towards a licence renewal date of June next year. We had assumed that we would have to convert all our structures from testing to full production, which is good in the sense that you can move up to world prices for selling the assets for the oil. But in terms of further development, you then may be limited because under the current rules, if you haven't developed an area, you then can't produce from it. So what we've managed to do is to agree with the Kazakh authorities a system where we can move structure by structure from full production, from testing to full production. And we've got a couple of structures that would happen for next summer, and that would mean we could have decent income. But we've then got another 6 years when we can continue to explore without any need to sacrifice various parts of the field that otherwise we would have done. So I think it's a very good outcome. Yeah. All this then takes place next summer.
Yes. So you are actually producing in the technical.
We are producing. You know, we have the capacity with just the shallow field now, MJF, to produce at about 4,000 barrels a day. Once we turn all the wells on, we test and stop and start as we have to do under the regulations. With A5, that's another 3,500 barrels a day. If we can get the other 2 wells to flow before the licence renewal, that would put us well over the 10,000 barrels a day mark.
What sort of income are you getting?
In terms of the income, we have to sell at domestic prices, and that typically is between $16 to $20 a barrel net. So oil traders come and pick it up, they pick up all the delivery costs. So at the moment, we're looking at about $20 a barrel on what we're producing.
And what are your costs on that?
Costs are very low because the wells have been drilled. The workforce there is not expensive. The costs are really picked up by the oil traders, and it's a net price of $20 that we receive.
Okay, so where are you going now for the back end of this year? What's your next target?
What we're looking to do is to bring on the other 2 deep wells. We're going to spud 2 more deep wells. One is going to happen in November on the Eshkol field. That's going to be well A8. And then in the first half of next year, we'll do another deep well on the Yellowmas deep field, 802. And on the back of that, we'll assess, convert hopefully at least one of those to full production, and then infill drill. So on MGF structure, which is the shallow structure, which is the most advanced, we may drill another 9 wells inside the perimeter we've established. And then on the others, we'll look at it case by case. But I think it's going to be a mixture of drilling funded by oil income. is going to be the case for 2018.
And can you, are you able just to survive on the income you're getting from the production you've got at the moment selling into the domestic market, or are you going to have to borrow more money?
We can do that now that A5 is working. If you think of the cost, a typical deep well is about $10 million. That is something that an A5 throws off 4 times a year in full production, even at $20 a barrel. So we have the ability to do that. It doesn't mean we will, because we may choose to go faster and do more things at once. But if we have to, we can live within our own means. Good.
So 2018 looking good for investors?
Looking very good, yeah. I think as we bring on each of the existing wells drilled and then hopefully have some success with the others, we'll not only up our production levels, but I think more importantly then up the reserves. We haven't really had a reserve update since 2015. A lot has happened. Hopefully the success we've had would be reflected in that.
And do you see that as the catalyst for share prices? Because I mean, some investors have been holding stock for a while. They don't see much of an improvement. What do you see as the catalyst for the share price?
I think there are 3 things there. I think one is actual production levels. That obviously does have a bearing. I think reserves should have a bearing, and I think the unknown is then the investors' view as to sort of M&A activity. I mean, we sit there owning 99% of what we think is a very good asset. I think there are plenty of big companies in the region that have underinvested over the years. Who's to say if one of them comes along, wants to fill a gap in their portfolio, we would be a natural person to speak to.
Yeah, and Kazakhstan, good place to work?
We find so, yeah. I mean, I think excellent infrastructure. I mean, all our staff are Kazakh. We don't have any problems there. We're able to recruit successfully, and there's a very good pipeline network to get the oil out.
Yeah. Okay, Clive, thanks indeed for joining us. For that update from Caspian Sunrise, Clive Carver is Executive Chairman of the company.